That's why it's so important for all of us to really be thoughtful, not just for yourself and your own mental health and well-being, but for the mental health and well-being of those that you may be in contact with. If you're not bringing the right stuff, be mindful, because that could influence and spill over into the lives of those that you're in the close proximity of.
Welcome to Impact and Fulfillment with Coach Mike D, where you'll gain practical wisdom and dynamic insight from amazing conversations to live your best life.
What's going on, y'all? This is Coach Mike D with another episode of Impact and Fulfillment. Hope you're well. Hope you're doing the doggone thing, right? But I'm also hoping that you're using your influence, your power, your skills, your gifts, your talents, your emotions to influence things, but to influence them in the right way, okay? I'm hoping that you're using everything in your power to influence things in the right way. And it's interesting. I was listening to an interview the other day, and it was a lady talking about, the strength of emotions and how, the strongest emotion in a room can, in essence, capture the brains of the others that are in the room, right? And so it made me think about various settings. So when you think about, an event where there's a speaker on the stage, right? That speaker, in essence, has the ability to influence the brains that are listening to what they're talking about. Like when we go to church and the preacher or the pastor is speaking up front, they have the ability to capture the brains or capture the mindset or capture the emotions of the people in the room, because that individual is, in essence, in a leadership position and an influential position. Therefore, they have the capacity to influence the temperature of a room. So when I was listening to this interview and she was talking about how there's like some studies that show within like 15 minutes, the person in the room or the person in the environment with the dominant energy or with the dominant emotions have the ability to capture the brains or the emotions of the other people in the room within 15 minutes at max. Sometimes it's actually, quicker, right? But it really leads me down the path of really understanding who has the dominant emotion, who has the dominant energy in a room, because that energy or those emotions have the ability to turn the temperature up or turn it down. So if the person stepping in the room with the dominant energy, with the dominant emotion, with the dominant personality, if that person's negative, don't you feel at times, if you've ever experienced it, don't you feel like the energy in the room just kind of drains when that negativity steps in? That's when the dominant personality leads or has that, stuff that they bring into the mix. On the flip side, have you ever been around an individual who just their mere presence causes everything to lift? You ever been around that? Like, it's interesting because it's hard to quantify and explain, but every last one of us has felt that. We've all been places where it's like everything was cool, and then somebody gets there and the energy shifts, things change, and you're just like, yo, I gotta leave, man. Like something just doesn't feel right. Right. And then we've been in other situations in which things aren't maybe great, but then an individual walks in the room and things tend to shift. And it just, hearing this conversation from this interview that I was listening to recently just made me really think about the concept of the thermostat. And I've used that in various episodes before. You're a thermostat, not a thermometer. But it really gave credence to the fact that we really are thermostats. But we have to recognize the value that we bring to a situation and the realization that you can cause the emotions and the energy in the room to shift by what you bring is of vital importance. That's why it's so important for all of us to really be thoughtful, not just for yourself and your own mental health and well-being, but for the mental health and well-being of those that you may be in contact with. If you're not bringing the right stuff, be mindful, because that could influence and spill over into the lives of those that you're in the close proximity of, especially if you're one with a dominant personality, if you're one with strong emotion, if you're one that brings various perspectives to the table that puts you in a leadership capacity or leadership position. And so we just have to be mindful of that and realize that you're not in this thing by yourself. And that can be a good thing or not so good thing. But regardless, you need to realize you're not in this thing by yourself. And so, again, it was kind of not an eye-opening thing, because I've always known this, but it was definitely more confirmation that the energy that we bring, the emotions that we bring, the value of that is extremely high, not just for yourself, but also in the presence of others. So I think to me, that gives us the wherewithal and the, kind of like the motivation to say, like, yo, I got to get myself right. I got to work on my emotions. I got to work on how I process things. I have to work on how I present, because it's not just me. It's also all the people that are connected to me, all the people that will encounter me, because I have the ability to shift the temperature in the room based off of the emotions that I bring, based off of the energy that I bring. And so we just have to be very thoughtful about all of that, because again, you don't live in this life, or you don't live in this world in isolation on an island somewhere. The movie Castaway was hard because dude was by himself on an island. We're not designed to be that way. So you're going to be in contact with other people. Just be mindful of how you move impacts other people. And let's move accordingly. All right. Well, hey, as always, make sure y'all grab a copy of my book, The 33 Laws of Impact and Fulfillment. Have an amazing day. Do something fun. Do something great for somebody else. And let's keep this thing going. Y'all be blessed, well, and wise, and have an amazing day. Peace.
I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and follow Coach Mike D everywhere on social media. Y'all be blessed, well, and wise.